What's going on, guys? Back again. And I've been thinking, what about if the solution is something wild? What about if the solution to the problems that you think you have is to actually do something that you think that you can't do or that you're not supposed to do? What about if it's going the other way from the things that you think you're supposed to do in order to live a better life? What about, what about if it's the opposite of where you're currently stuck? Or where you think you're supposed to go in order to feel fulfilled, in order to feel happy, in order to feel worthy enough as a human being? What about if it's, crashing out? What about if it is crashing out? What about if your solution lies in being a complete and total degenerate? I'm gonna preface that. What about if you've been living it too fucking safe, right? You're following the rules. You went and got a degree. You got a job that you're supposed to like. You're doing things the way that society says you're supposed to do, right? That other people that are doing. Excuse me, my allergies, for fuck's sake. Or that your parents expect of you. What about if you're doing all that, but yet still deep inside of you? Oh yeah, and I should also add on top of that, you've never done any drugs. You've never had a drink of alcohol. You've never, maybe have gone out there and went a little wild, if you know what I mean. And you've just never really done the dirty deeds. So you've never done that, and you've done everything right. You've followed all the steps, right. But something deep within you is crying for more. It's crying for something more meaningful, right? It's crying for discovery, adventure, things that are novelty, new experiences. I mean, just anything that you haven't done, haven't experienced, haven't dipped your feet into. Your soul is craving for more. What about if that's the solution? Is to just go absolutely hog wild. Be a little fucking retarded. And do some crazy shit that you think or you feel totally goes against the grain of who you are. What about if that's the solution? And I think for many people out there, specifically a lot of guys, it lies within that. What's a common thing that you see these days? If you've been in the self-help sphere for the last 10 years, what's a thing that you've seen be thrown around within that sphere? It's a bunch of addictions, right? Porn addiction. I have a porn addiction. I'm a chronic addict. I jerk off too many times a day. I smoke too much weed. I play too many video games. I can't speak to an attractive woman without feeling inadequate in myself and shaking and breaking down. I feel like a loser. Those are the kind of things that you've seen throw around. And you have whole channels revolve around this kind of stuff. telling guys to fix this, to fix that. In order to fix this, you need to get rid of these things and do these other habits. And I don't think it's necessarily wrong or that it's a bad thing, but I really don't think, I honestly don't think that it's what you should be watching anymore of. Because you've probably watched a lot of that shit. You've probably watched a shitload of this content. It's told you all these different things. Told you what to do with your life. To be successful, you do this. To be attractive, do this. To not be a loser, don't do this and do this instead. And what do you find a lot of the time? Well, you find a lot of the time that, one, it tells you to give up certain vices. Go cold turkey. Completely drop all the vices and just be like a monk. And then the other things that it tells you, I'd say another thing, the second biggest thing is that, it's like you got to lock in. You need to lock in and you need to become, David Goggins style, Jocko Willink style, just fucking, balls to the wall, grinding 24/7, whatever the case is, man. And listen, maybe there's a guy out there that is at a point in his life where this kind of stuff is the stuff that he needs to hear, But I think for a lot of younger guys out there, this is not the stuff that they need to hear. Matter of fact, I think for a lot of young guys who've played it safe for too long, they need to hear the opposite. Because within them is a scream for more. It's a scream for the adventure. It's a scream. It's a calling, man. And you know what? Oftentimes, a lot of the time, that scream inside of them is like the part of them that is more animalistic. The part of them that wants to go out there and just make your stain on this world. And I'm not saying it's in a bad way, but you want to be seen. You want to be heard. You want to feel like... I feel like somebody's just walking through the door there. There's nobody here. You want to feel like, you have a cool story to tell. And so I think the solution temporarily is to just crash out. Actually, I think you need to kind of, just go all in on this shit that you think you have a problem with. You want to do that shit because you want to do it. You want to do it because you lack something else in your life. So, honestly, honest to God, if you have a gooning problem, I say this. Dedicate a whole week to gooning. I'm not kidding, dude. Goon until you can't goon anymore. Goon until, like there's like until you're jerking a limp dick. Until there's just nothing left in you. You want to play video games? Dude, play your whole fucking deck. Play your whole fucking deck. You want to sit around and eat junk food? I'd say order fucking McDonald's, order whatever takeout food, junk food you want for a week. Go all out. Go all in. Commit to it. You want to be a degenerate? There's a part of you inside of you that just wants to go out there and just do a bunch of dumb shit. You want to drink. You want to party. You want to smoke. You want to bang a bunch of bitches. I'd say go and do it. Go and do it. Go and let loose. Go all in on it, man. I'm serious. Because at the end of that, you're going to see it. You're going to feel it. And like you're actually going to feel it. You're going to feel kind of shitty, right? You're going to feel like, oh, God, dude. I can't do this shit anymore. This is actually really bad for me. you'll get to a point where doing that stuff doesn't feel good anymore. And then because it doesn't feel good anymore, something hopefully will click that will then encourage you to actually do what you want, what you need to be doing. You know, and like in the case of you gooning, most guys goon, you know, feverishly, if that's the right word to use, because they don't have an outlet with an actual real woman in their lives for that kind of thing. So, you know, we're sexual beings, and we have a strong sex drive, particularly as young men. Our testosterone's high. Of course you're going to want to goon. Who the fuck is it? What guy wouldn't if he was in that kind of situation? Right? He would just want to goon. He honestly, like, goon until you can't goon anymore. But then you realize that that is not good for you. It doesn't bring you anything. It doesn't really bring you any joy. It's just very short-term pleasure. You realize you need the real thing. And for a lot of people out there, in order to actually change and become successful, you need to see the other side of things. You need to see the side of yourself that, you know, is crashed out, without direction, lost. You know, not feeling like you have any control over your life whatsoever. You need to see the other thought, you know, and then something needs to happen. That is a wake-up call that forces you to turn things around. Some people will say it's unfortunate. Some people will say that, you know, it's bad that things go that way. It honestly, it just is what it is. It just is what it is. So, I'm not saying to go out there and to be a total degenerate for everybody. I'm not. You know, you might be hearing this right now and you might totally think I'm crazy, but for some of you guys, this might totally resonate. You need to let that adventurous side of you out of you. See the other side of things. To have some more clarity and direction. So yeah, with that said, I'm going to cut this one off. I'm going to sit with that message that I just said. Feel it out. And to you, whoever is watching this, I hope you do the